A warm greetings to all. This is Murali Subramania, Associate Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Kattankulattur campus. We are going to study about the subject titled Principles of Computer Integrated Manufacturing. The subject code 20 MEC 511J. In the introduction video, I given about the overall view of the syllabus. What is ME mechanical and C for core and J for joint course, like it is practical and theory together. That's why it's called a joint course. So we discussed about all 5 unit syllabus and what are all the practical components you guys are going to study. We discussed. So we'll move on to unit number 1 directly. Okay. So this is the syllabus for unit 1, mainly about manufacturing. What are the types of manufacturing? What are the manufacturing systems available? And sim definition, sim wheel and components available, pros and cons of sim, and NC machine and how it is working, what are the classification is there, how the NC machines are controlled. Then next version CNC followed by DNC. So we'll study about that one by one in subsequent class videos. In this video, we'll be discussing about manufacturing types and manufacturing system. Okay. So what do you mean by manufacturing? Before we go for manufacturing, what is happening in real situation in terms of industrial era? Industrial 4.0 we are talking about in quite recent time. So where it came from, the industrial 4.0. So what was then industry 1.0? What was before 1.0? So before 1.0 there won't be any mechanisms or machines, just manpower, purely manpower. If somebody wants to do some activity like create some objects, they use their own power, manpower, and they make it without any mechanism. Mechanism won't be involved in that. But during 1780, mechanism started in that power for the particular mechanism came from water and steam sources. Okay, so here you can able to see the like image which shows that mechanism started during the 1780s, and to provide energy or power for the particular mechanism came from water power or steam power. Okay, using steam power or water power, they create like a steam, like they are heating that water and steam produced, then it is pushing. Okay, similar, it's a kind of giving energy, power to do something. Okay, so this is done during the first industrial revolution. Then almost like one decade, like 1870, 1870 only, electricity came in, where they use electricity to make automation, like for example mass production if they want to do, or if they want to run the assembly line using electricity. Same water and steam power also used in like hydraulic and pneumatic related thing. Similarly, they added electricity with the advantage of or benefits of electricity. They used the electricity for mass production, where assembly line or like making like a conveyor belts, it will be running through motors, right? For that electricity used. Okay, that second industrial revolution came in 1870s. Then third, it took almost again like 100 years to come for third industrial revolution. Is all about automation. Computer came in during that period. It's a beginning stage, but came in that time only. So using electronics and computers, everything made automated. Okay, so what are the things we are experiencing, like some machines, the CNC or NC or PLC controls, everything came in during the time of 1970s. That period only starting point for that particular revolution of industry 3.0. Then In between, the industry 4, there is industry 3.5. Mostly, many people won't be discussing about industry 3.5, but here it is mentioned that industry 3.5 also. What is that? Is it's all about increasing the component mass production towards the globe. Okay, so they done some automation during 1970s, limited version, like inside their company or only for limited area component. They made it, and they sold it for internal in the sense that the particular country or state. But in 1980s only, globalization started. Okay, so during globalization, requirement for the components are huge, parts are huge, right? So they want to utilize the facilities which is offered by computer and PLC controls or electronics is enormous. So they have adopted that fully, and they started making n number of components and n variety of components according to the need from the across the globe. Okay, so they made it during the 1980s. That is what globalization started. That is people used to call industry 3.5. Okay, then fourth, what we are running now, we maybe started thinking about industry 5.0, but still industry 4.0 not implemented in most of the industries. Nowadays only Indian companies are started thinking about industry 4.0, they are adding like sensors to the particular machines, n number of machines. For example, there is a robot or CNC machine, milling machine, grinding machine, or pick and place robot, material handling device, conveyors, or quality control. If you take a quality control like machine vision system, everywhere they add sensors. That sensor are connected through centralized PC or centralized internet based one, like through connectivity, internet connectivity. They connect each and every things in the sense here, the machineries or components or sensors or things. Okay, for example, a robot is one thing, CNC milling machine is one thing, grinding machine one thing, packaging. If we go about packaging is a one particular thing. So each and everything connected through internet, like through the cyber medium, they connect everything and keep all the data at one particular place. Okay, it's kind of integrating everything which is available inside the industry. Okay, similar like for example, how many number of components are fabricated and dispatched. That also monitored using some barcode systems. Okay, RFID tag also they can use. But all the data, whether it is not done in third industrial, yes, it is done, but it is not centralized through internet. They collect it in one shop floor, one admin, or industry, one plant level. They analyze it and store it. But this is global level. All the information stored digitally in computer or internet or cloud. Okay, using this, anybody can control their data from any parts of the world. Okay, for example, automobile companies, we can say R&D is in different places, different countries, but manufacturing plants may be in different locations. For example, Hyundai company and their clients, if you say, it is there in our city, but R&D in a different country like Korea. They used to do the R&D in Korea. Similarly, Samsung or LG company, if you take, or in terms of Japan companies, they do R&D in Japan, and the manufacturing be being done in India. Okay, so what they do, they want to control quality control, or they want to monitor what is happening, even though like Indian level, there will be administrator, manager, or top level people will be monitoring. But that all the information will be communicated through internet, through the cloud, to the main team which is there in their respective country. Okay, so they can able to see all the data and they can make a decision easily. For example, here it is mentioned that like Industry 4.0 is introduction of connected device. As is a connected device in the sense each and every machines are connected through sensors, through internet to the centralized point, and data analytics in the sense what are the information coming out from the each and every things in the machine. For example, robot, how much pick and place it done, and in terms of machine, what is the spindle speed it is going on, what is the feed rate it is given, and what is the life of particular tool. Okay, so how much energy consumption is happened, and how many number of components fabricated. For example, expected is 1000, but fabricated is 800. So if they track that information online directly, Industry 3.0 also they done, but it is done locally. But now it is in centralized to global, everywhere they can able to see. So they can able to see and monitor. Okay, activity will be same, but the way of information sharing, the way of information control is totally different in terms of Industry 4.0. It's more user friendly. Okay, and we can able to make decisions like a quick decision using some artificial intelligence techniques. Artificial intelligence techniques, you might have heard that it's not like computer science. It's everywhere now. Don't think artificial intelligence is only belongs to computer science students. It is everywhere now. We have to understand what is. It is a big, broad area. Okay, with that, there are lots of techniques available inside the artificial intelligence. Name it like a deep learning or machine learning. Okay, genetic algorithm, neural networks, whatever it may be. It has lots of sub algorithms also, like SVM and CNN algorithms. Okay, and still we can say like a regression model, so whether a linear regression model or something. Okay, so lots of algorithms available inside your machine learning or deep learning or neural networks, if you say. Okay, it's mainly data analytics. Okay, using the data. So how we can able to find out whether it is right or wrong. We can make a decision and we can do optimization. Optimization in the sense, for example, if we are running the machine for longer period, so how we can utilize the machine more effectively, like whether increase the spindle speed to produce huge number of product output. Okay, MRR, increasing the spindle speed will be what? MRR will be increased, or if we increase the feed rate or depth of cut, MRR. MRR in the sense what? Material removal rate will be increased. But whether are we satisfying the quality of the component? That means it's a kind of accuracy. How much accuracy or tolerance we are setting, whether we are achieving. So which one is best? Simply sitting in paper and analyzing is easy, but when you go for huge volume and huge variety of component what we are making, in that sense, it is not easy. So we can automate that through some techniques comes under artificial intelligence. For that we need a data. That data will be coming from the particular systems through some medium, like sensors will be there. It will be connected things will be giving the data to the centralized system through internet. Then that artificial intelligence, using that artificial intelligence advancement, we can able to make some decision. Okay, this is what all about Industry 4.0. So you guys may be clear about what is Industry 1. Is mainly mechanism started during that time, but power for mechanism came from water power or steam power. Second generation of Industry 4, 2.0 is same mass production, assembly line also came, but the power given by electrical energy. Okay, electrical energy used to give power sources for the assembly line or do the manufacturing. The third, integrating everything through computer and the PLC's automation thinking. Okay, so it's like it takes almost 100 years from 1870s to 1970 to get Industry 3.0. Okay, they do electronics. Most of the industries in India, we are following Industry 3.0 only, not upgraded to Industry 4.0. Then automation, from the automation, globalization came. 1980s it came. It's also like almost like 40 years gone, but still people are using 3.5 only. Recent times, recent times in the sense it's almost this also came around 10 years before, like digitalization, like Industry 4.0, cyber physical system, everything is connected, IoT based. IoT in the sense Internet of Things. Every element inside your industry considered as a thing which is connected through internet. The internet or sensors will be embedded, and through that the sensor information will be shared through the internet. And in order to make decisions or get the optimal solutions, There will be algorithms using like artificial technology, artificial intelligence technology. They make the quality output and cost effective manner they produce it. Okay, this is what Industry 4.0. Then we think about. So in this case, like Industry 4.0, people used to think about most of the manpower got reduced because everything communicated through internet. Yes, of course. But once if you think about manpower got reduced, the input from the manpower got increased for this kind of sensors. Who is going to write this program? Who is going to develop this kind of sensors? Everything by the human. So opportunities may be reduced in one area, but the opportunities increased in another domain also. So we have to increase our knowledge, or we have to enrich our knowledge in terms of different skills which is required for the current scenario. Okay, so don't think like mechanical engineers won't be having any job in terms of industrial evaluation is coming in the sense, revolution coming in the sense like only computer science students. No, we have to upgrade ourselves. We have to meet out the industry need, means we have to enrich our skill by learning about like deep learning techniques, machine learning techniques, what is artificial intelligence, what are the optimization techniques available, how to do the programming. Okay, so like programming is very very important. So we have to basic thing we have to understand. The plus is as a mechanical engineer with this kind of programming knowledge, it is very very easy and efficient for us to understand that current industrial revolution. Okay, then what are the components available in Industry 4.0? Okay, previously we saw about what is Industry 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we'll be checking about what are the components are there, or technologies there inside Industry 4.0. It start with like if you say like cyber security or additive manufacturing, like so many things. Okay, I will start with like the cloud. The cloud. Okay, the cloud is the it's like a collection of database. For example, from automation, or from IoT. IoT in the sense, as I said, Internet of Things. Okay, so each and every machineries, equipments which is there inside our company connected through internet. Okay, the data will be shared directly to somewhere. To somewhere in the sense what? To the cloud. The cloud will be having all the data. Okay, the cloud will be having the all the data, and the data we have all the data in the sense what? It comes under the big data. Big data will be having collection of data where we can do all the processing like artificial intelligence we can apply, or we can make a decision using deep learning, machine learning, and for finding the optimal solutions. Okay, so big data is important. IoT also a very very important thing is how we are connecting the things which is there inside the industry, and how we are going to connect between things. It comes under integration. How we are going to integrate each other. Okay. Then automation is already there inside the machines. Lots of sensors, PLC controllers will be there, or feedback mechanism sensors will be there. Everything will be connected together through the sensors, right? So this comes under automation. Okay. So automation is also one of the main component, and cyber security. When we think about the data, big data, which is going to be shared through the internet and through the cloud, in the sense security, data security is very very important, because if we are sending all the information which is related to our company through the internet to the cloud, if somebody accessing it, cyber security or some hackers are there, if they access our data, then what about our privacy of our document? Okay, so if somebody hack our data, it's gone. For example, if we are manufacturing, planning for new release, maybe in after 6 months time, we are going to launch some new component. For example, automobile vehicle, if you say, or mobile phone, if you say, or any appliances, if you say. So all the information, since it's connected through cloud and Industry 4.0 is there, some from some other country, they will be sending them like information about the model, 3D model, or dimension wise, or some technical features, or how much cost they are planning. Everything if they are sharing through the medium, it's possible only that, because you can't send any book or paper mode. Now they use the internet as a medium and communicate. Okay, if somebody hacked that, what will happen? That other person who is opponent for that particular company, what they do, they will be using that and they will file patent or they will create something little modified and they launch 1 month before that. Means if they planning that the company A planning to launch something after 2 months, if company B is hacking the data and they release the component in 1 month, what will happen? They can't release. Company A can't release their product as per their original plan because already similar kind of product been there in the market. So it is very very important to maintain the security of the data. For the cyber security also very big concern. We have to little bit we have to focus and study about that. Okay, so main component if you say is big data, IoT, the big data, IoT, how we are going to integrate, and automation, cyber security, and cloud. Okay, so these are all the main components if we say Industry 4.0. Artificial intelligence will be coming inside your big data and that. Okay, fine. Then augmented reality is it's like a next level. It's similar like if we go for 3D modeling we are doing, or how the machines or a big equipment if we fabricate, we can see digitally how it is there inside. Okay, we can do the exploded view using the augmented reality and we can feel it how it would be instead of making it real. For example, if you think about building shipbuilding industry, if you go, instead of making it in huge size, after that visualizing something is not good. 3D modeling software also there. It will be giving overall view about that. Fine, we accept that. But augmented reality give more interactive feeling to the audience or users about the product which is being developed. Okay, for that the augmented reality will be the more useful tool. Then simulation, similar like what we do. Simulation not only like mechanical simulation, what we do, like how the components are assembled, or how the motor is running, how the lathe machine or milling machine is running. It's not about simulation. It is also, for example, if we do the analysis of the component or cycle analysis, like a layout design, if you do, everything can be simulated. Okay, for example, material flow, how the material coming inside the industry and what kind of output and how it is going. In between that, from the input to the output, how the material got flow inside, like what all the machine is traveling, how much time it is being machined in particular machine, or how it is traveled through material handling devices, how long does it take, where it should be need to be stored. Everything can be simulated because lots of softwares already prepared now. Okay, using that, if we could able to simulate, we can identify that how much time required to finish one product from raw material to final component. Okay, what are the resources we have, or what we have to equip ourselves, like everything we can able to simulate. Okay, then additive manufacturing is the new concept which is added in recent time. It is not new concept. If we say this is the mother for manufacturing, additive in the sense adding material, simply we can say. So what we are doing is removing something from the material. That is what we are doing, like a machining at all. If we say what we do, consider one rod from the from particular rod, steel rod or MS rod. If you say MS rod, from the MS rod, mild steel, I'm telling you, yeah, mild steel rod. If we remove something to make a step turning, so if we want to step turn from the whole rod, what we do, we remove something according to the dimension which is given. Okay, that is what we do in the lathe operation. Means we are removing material. We are not adding any material, but additive manufacturing is all about adding material. So what it is going to tell us is it's not going to give any wastages or scraps which is being given by regular manufacturing. So adding material is the not new thing. It is the mother for the manufacturing, we could say. So from that, it's different. The feasibilities of using that kind of additive manufacturing is very challenging during that time. But now technologies are improving. Lots of research being carried out in terms of additive manufacturing. In what way we could able to make like components, or how we can able to change the combination of materials inside. Further, how we can do the like technique to make the component using additive, like adding material format. So being lots of research being happened are happening nowadays for additive manufacturing. This is also part of Industry 4.0. Example, if we say 3D printing, additive manufacturing, in the sense 3D printing, we can say, or reverse engineering, or rapid prototyping. Reverse engineering is different, rapid prototyping. Rapid prototyping and 3D printing. In rapid prototyping, we'll be having lots of method like a sintering process and FDM process, fused deposit modeling process. So many methods available in additive manufacturing. We'll study a little bit about in further units or in some other time. Okay. So these are all the overall components about Industry 4.0. So wherever possible, I have added the sources because I have referred from different materials. So I given the sources for each and every topic. Okay. Then here comes the Industry 4.0. So it is very early to discuss about that because in India we are not yet implemented fully about Industry 4.0, but we have to think about Industry 5.0 because some foreign countries, global companies, they are trying about that. So just to read, I will read that first. Okay, what is future personalization? So personalization itself, you could imagine what is meant by personalization. For example, I need something more specific for this particular component. For example, this is the mouse I'm using that. This mouse needs to be personalized according to my need. Why? In the sense, I may need the color different. I may need the shape different. For example, according to my anthropometric characteristics of the fingers and arm and hand, I want to use this particular mouse. I want to design this particular mouse personalizedly. It will be, I like only in that way, in the sense, personalization is possible. Why and how? This is what the question. Personalization is very much because people have started feeling like what they need now. Okay, they are thinking about I need, which is perfect to me, which is comfortable to me, because generalized mouse will not be comfortable anymore for individuals because our perception got enhanced. Our comfort level got reduced. Previously we adapt everything because we don't have options. We have to adapt. But now options are many because technology developments are huge. So we will be thinking like I need personalized component. For example, shoe like appliances or appraisal industry, if you say, we will be thinking about particularly designed appraisal for me, or shoe, or like a helmet, or goggles, gloves. Everything will be personalized for me according to my need. We are thinking about that, right? So the future of industry revolution is 5.0 is all about personalization. So let me read it here. The fifth industrial revolution or industry 5.0 will be focused on the cooperation between man and machine. Okay, man and machine as a human intelligence work in harmony with cognitive computing. So cognitive computing is the one of the word which is added to the industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is all about mass customization and cyber physical system. But here cognitive computing will be added, which cognitive computing will be giving personalization to our need. So that is what all about Industry 5.0. By putting humans back into the industrial production with the collaborative robots, workers will be upskilled to provide value-added tasks in production, leading to mass customization and the personalization for customers. So personalization is the very very important key in terms of 5.0. So future, in the near future, we'll be getting like a custom designed according to our need vehicle, like a two-wheelers or four-wheelers, whatever may be, or custom designed appliances like a keyboard. If you think somebody may be having a shorter hand, instead of standard keyboard, we'll be having personalized keyboard, ergonomically designed, but making that ergonomically designed keyboard for one person is little difficult, right? Do you understand my point? You are making like a custom made component like mouse or keyboard or shoe or garments. It's difficult. We have to go and stitch. It's different. But mass production, if we to see, it is like a 3D printing. That's where the additive manufacturing came. So according to the varieties or individual needs, Personalization possible through cognitive computing means it will understand what the people are thinking. For example, this figure it is given. So human will be having their own thinking in their self. They have a different wishes. Okay, it will be recorded through sensors. Okay, their data, the sensing, their ideas, their vision, their expectation will be recorded through the sensor. Then that will be communicated to the cloud. Then what are the machines available? That information also there in the cloud. So then using artificial intelligence or machine learning, deep learning algorithms, it will design and give the optimal solutions or what is the expectation for the particular individual to the machineries. The machineries will be printing them like additive manufacturing, using additive manufacturing technology. 3D printing will print the custom made shoes. It is already been there in real world nowadays. You could be able to see like a magic mirror if you say magic mirror is a simple concept we think, but it is not simple concept. For example, if you go to the garment industry, like a shopping mall, there will be a mirror there where you can stand in front. It will match outfits for you according to your structure and with the different combinations. You can choose that. You can customize. You can choose the custom design component. Like for example, the size wise, somebody may think like I need like a flat size but a little bigger one. For example, here I want to have some little big, little oversized. I have to reduce it. Everything possible and color combination also you can try. After that, you can just order. It will give you means it will give you information in front of your eyes. It's not reading your mind. It is keeping like a mirror. It will reflect your thinking process and it will assist you by for selecting the component. Okay, this is one way. Another way is you are thinking like I want my shoe in this way, so I need to fabricate my shoe or printed my shoe in this way, like a curvature in food. We can able to see lots of profiles, curvature in the sense. Flat foot is there, little curvature foot is there, right? So according to that, we can do scanning of our food. That scanned food will be matched with the different shoes, and where you can change your colors or you can add about what kind of cushion you want, how much thickness cushion you want, or what kind of grip you want to design, what kind of logo you want to print on that. Everything you can design using this personalized facilities. Then you simply click print. It will be printed in the additive manufacturing or 3D printing machine, and we can able to use. So industry 5.0 mainly all about personalization. So industry 4.0, mass production will be there, cyber physical system is there. But in terms of industry 5.0, it will read our mind and we can give our input to what are the things we are having in our mind or what are the expectation we are having, then it will be. But challenges will be there because individual to individual perception vary, thinking vary. If we collect all their opinion, then it is very difficult. So like that's why the cognitive computing is there. It's a big area. We are not going to study about cognitive computing in this subject, but it is big area. We have to understand about what is cognitive computing also. Okay. So as of now, we discussed about main topics about what is Industry 4.0 and what are the technologies, 9 technologies available under Industry 4.0. So what is meant by Industry 5.0? So hope you guys will be having little, you will be getting some idea about what is Industry 4.0 and how that revolution of industries like 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4, and now with the 5. Though it takes some time for implementing Industry 5.0, but we don't know that advancement, what is happening in all the field may come this one in another 5 years also. But implementing Industry 4.0 itself difficult in India. People are trying. Once they come up with Industry 4.0, it will be very easy because everything is now internet based only. Okay. So next we'll move on to our main topic of this unit is production and manufacturing. What is this? Previously we discussing about industry 4.0, 5.0, suddenly moving to production and manufacturing. Yes, this is basic for all the things. This all components only. Okay, so we have to study about this. So that's why we are this topic. So let me know what all the idea you have about production. What is meant by production? what is meant by manufacturing. Just to recollect yourself, who were all who did manufacturing or sorry, who did mechanical engineering, they might have heard about that. But somebody coming from other majors, they may not know about what is production and manufacturing. So to recollect what is production. So let's go to production first. So what is meant by production? It's a process of transforming resources into finished product. It is one process. Using the process, we can transfer some resources into finished product. That's it. Don't think components using machineries will be converted as a final product. No, it is a process of transferring any resources into final component. Okay. So why I'm telling like that, we'll come to the next point. Production can be done with or without the use of machineries, right? Machinery is not necessary for doing the production. Okay, production can be done with or without any machineries. Means it's simply a process of transferring the resources. Resources, what are the things we have? From that, we are going to convert as a finished component or product. That is what the transformation process is called production. Where we doesn't not necessary to have machineries. We can do the production with or without the use of machinery. So what are the output can be? It produces both tangible and intangible outputs. So what is that? Goods, for example, goods is the tangible outputs like like a car, mouse, keyboard, monitors, shoe, appraisal is the tangible output. Intangible outputs is the kind of services. Okay, we can able to provide services. That is also comes under production. Okay, only man is sufficient. Machineries also is there. Machinery is there. It's good. With the machineries we can able to do, but without machineries also we can able to do the production. That man is sufficient for producing output. Like a doing production is a process of transferring resources into final product. It can be done with or without the use of machinery. It produces both the tangible and intangible outputs. Example, goods as well as services, and man is sufficient for producing the output. Okay. So how it is divided? Production divided into two major components. One is facilities, another one is manufacturing support system. So facilities, what are the things comes under facilities? And what are the things comes under manufacturing support system? We'll study about that in the next slide. So what are the sources I referred for this subject or for this topic is from the MP Gruber book titled Automation Production System and Computer Integrated Manufacturing, 4th edition. Okay, so you can refer that book and read the book clearly to get a clear idea. Because what are the explanation I am giving will be giving some glimpse for you guys to get some knowledge. If you with this input, if you are reading the textbook or reference book, then you will be getting insight more. Okay, so I suggest you guys to read the book. So let's come back like a production. It is divided into two levels. One is facilities and manufacturing system. So what is meant by facilities? Facilities in the production system include many components like a factory, production machines, tooling, material handling equipment, inspection equipment, and computer system that control the manufacturing operations. What are the things again I am telling? It includes factory. Factory includes lots of production machines, material handling devices, tooling, like computers also there, our inspection unit also there. Everything comes under the facility. Okay, this is what mean facilities. So it is divided into classification. Like a facility is classified as a manufacturing system. One side, factory and plant layout is coming in the another side. So manufacturing system classified into three levels. One is manual workstation. Second one is worker machine system. Third one is automated system. In manufacturing system, it is like first one is the manual workstation in the sense hand tools employed to fabricate something or to manufacture something, only hand tools are used. For another worker machine system, power tools are employed, and the final one is automated system without direct participation of the human. The making of components will be made. That is what comes under. Okay, so all these three comes under the manufacturing system. Then another facilities is the factory and plant layout. Other things like how the material handling devices, how the machineries are aligned, so where to keep the storage system, where to keep the machineries, and what are the spaces we have to give. Everything designed in the plant layout, right? That is also comes under the facilities. Okay, so facilities having manufacturing system and factory and plant layout. So for each and every type, like a manual workstation, we'll be giving some with the figure I could able to explain easily. So here the first one, manual workstation. Here see starting work unit. There's the process is going on, and finally you will be getting the output like a computer said completed work unit. So here starting work unit and process. Process where worker will be directly involved. Okay, worker will be directly involved. He will be doing the process with the help of hand tools often used, means not compulsory he will be using tools, but oftenly he will be using the hand tools, but main process will be done using worker alone. So input and output in between process will be done by the worker with the help of hand tool oftenly. But in terms of second, worker machine system, in the sense here input output will be there in process. Here worker also will be there, machineries also will be there. Okay, worker also there, machineries will be there. For example, classically, if you think about our machine shop or workshop, where people will be the worker like lathe operation, turner will be doing, a CNC operator will be doing the machining, using the machine CNC machining, but program everything. Or lathe machine, if you say like a conventional lathe machine, he'll be loading the work piece inside the chuck, and he'll be giving the feed, the depth of cut, he will control the feed rate, everything controlled. But machine will do the machining operation with the help of the cutting tools. Okay, so this is second one, worker machine system. Third one is automated system. Manpower also there, and automated machine also there. Input output will be there, but here significant operation will be done by the automated machine. Manpower periodically monitor that. For example, like mass production industry, if we say CNC machines are nowadays used more. What they do, just they feed the program. After that, they will be running the machine. Machine will be automatically do the machining, cool and on, cool and off. Everything will be done by the machine, automated machine. So once the component is done, that a door will be opened, the pick and place robot will go inside the machine and take the component and place it in the pallet. It will go to the next operation. Then it will, the pick and place robot will take it from the pallet for the another raw material, and locate it in the particular CNC machine check. Then door will be closing, and then again cycle of operation will be conducted. This is automated machining. Where is the role of worker, in the sense he will continuously monitor that whether operation is going on. Maybe he will be controlling 5 CNC machine at a time. Okay, he will just go and see whether there is a cycle is going, or he will be stopping the program, and whether it's any error is there or not, he will check. Mostly won't be there, but little monitoring is needed. So these are the three types. Manual workstation, completely input and output processes will be done by the worker. He may or may not use hand tools to do some operation. But in terms of worker machine system, like a worker also will be there, machine also will be involved to do the manufacturing process. But in terms of third one, automated system, automatic machines are mainly involved, and it will be machine automatically programmed by the programmer. Then the machine will do all the operation continuously. We can able to fabricate. So this is all about three types of uh, manufacturing systems available. Okay. Then overall view of the manufacturing support system. If we say it's a manufacturing support system, these are all the whole system, because as I said, production include two things. So first one is what? Facilities. Second is about manufacturing support system. Facilities discussing about equipments, layout, machineries, everything. But manufacturing system is the administrative process where the production is managed properly. This is a very, very, very important topic. Okay. So for example, manufacturing support system. So manufacturing support system, which is having four main basic components. One is product design. Second one is manufacturing planning. Third one is manufacturing control and business function. So what is the heart of industry? Who will be the our main person for if we think about industry, our customer. So, who will be communicating between our customer and us? So, who is the bridging point? Who is the voice of the customer? The business function people will be the voice of the customer. So, customer order will be coming into the business functions. Okay, so then it will be go to the product design, manufacturing planning, and manufacturing control. We'll study one by one. Okay, for example, what all the things is there under the business function? If say sales and marketing team, and the sales and marketing team only directly approaching the customers. Okay, so they know what are the things the customers are expecting. For example, if we make some component like a automobile vehicle, if we are selling, they are the person who is communicating to the customers. They are selling the component, but customer may think so. This feature will be if it is looks like this, or some profile a little increase or decrease, or changing some color. If they may give lots of suggestion, they may ask according to like a personalization. According to that, they will ask. Then this team will be coming back to the industry and giving their opinion. Okay, this is the view or recommend by the customer. They will say. Then order entry, how much needed, and cost accounting. If they do the sales, then everything will be accounted properly. Okay, so business function team will be the main. They will get the information from the customers, from the real world, and they will communicate to the industry. For example, if they want to do, the industry particularly wants to do some new proposal, first they want to do the survey from the real world. Whether what are the plan we are having, like a components we are planning to propose for the future, will it be acceptable by the customers? Then they do pre-survey through this business function team. Like a sales and marketing team person used to go out and get the survey out, and what the need of the customer will be analyzed by them, and it will be given to the product design team, means R&D team, research and development team. The research and development team will be doing the complete understanding or analysis of the information which is provided by the sales and marketing team about the customer requirement. Then they do the design using the design engineers or like draftmans and all. Nowadays, draftmen are no more required. Mostly everything is done in 3D modeling. Okay, so design engineers will be working on that, and simply instead of fabricating, they do like a prototyping using 3D printing. Okay, using 3D printing, they do the prototyping. Then again they will be giving to the business function people, and they will check. Okay, so these are all the feedback we got from the customers. Will it be satisfied by them? They will select randomly few customers with privacy. They won't be revealing any information like confident kind of confidentially. They select some customers. They will come to our industry and they will check the prototype, and they like their feeling. They will express. Everything will be noted by the product design team and also business function people. Then accordingly they work. Okay. Then manufacturing planning. Fine. Let's decide that research and development team got the information from the business function people. According to the customer need, they design the component and fabricated like using a prototype machine like a 3D printing they done. But will it be feasible? Will it be feasible to make it in our industry? What are the equipments we are having? Whether we have enough resources, whether resources in the sense machineries, materials, manpower, tools, etc. You name what are the things needed for making one component, that is all considered resources. Okay, whether we have inside our industry or not, they should know. So, product design team should take input from the manufacturing team also. Okay, manufacturing team will need to be part of the design and development R&D. During R&D, this manufacturing team also should be there. Simply that product design team person with his own imagination. If he is making a complicated component with lots of interiors and grooves and cuttings, but it cannot be manufactured in the available facilities in the industry, in the sense no meaning of doing the design, right? Simply for his imagination, we can buy new machineries also. So first he should know that what are the details or equipments or resources available of industry. Then These people also, manufacturing people also should be part of that discussion, and they will be giving, okay, if you make in this way, it is easy to manufacture. It's not only about the easy way, it is all about how much surface finish, how much tolerance, how much accuracy they need. With the facilities, the manufacturing people will know that this much accuracy only I can able to make. Simply they can't, the product design people, they cannot make like a accuracy of 0.001 or something like that. It's not at all possible. It's possible in the sense if it is available, that kind of machines are available. If not, they can't. So, what is the limit of their machineries? They have to inform to the product design team. The product design team should be thinking about that, and they will be making that. Then, product production planning team or process planning team will do the planning completely, like when and where the component should come, where it should come, how the flow of the material inside the industry should go, like from starting machine A to Z, how it is traveling, where it should be stored for shorter period for processing. Once it is processed, where it should move, like the next level, how it is going to be handled, either man will be handling that, our worker will be handling that, or using some conveyors or belt, or cranes, or using robot, okay, or using automated graded vehicle. We have to. And if we think about materials requirement, what are the materials we want to, what are the companies we are going to make, whether enough materials are available or tools available for us. For example, we will be using lots of tools to fabricate or manufacture something. Whether we have all the tools, enough tool, mass production we do in the sense, if we have only one or two tools for each machine, if it is got broken, every production will be stopped, right? So we have to think about enough resources available or not. Okay, in terms of material, raw material, and also tooling or manpower also we have to think. Without manpower, we can't. If we are automating everything is different. But we mix with our human worker and machine, so manpower also important. If we completely making everything automated without much influence of or significant input of manpower, fine. But machineries, whether are we having enough machineries to make according to our demand? Okay, so that everything will be decided. We have to plan like a manufacturing resource planning or material requirement planning we have to do, and capacity planning also will be done under the manufacturing planning. Capacity in the sense how much quantity. For example, one component will be having, for example, varieties. A car, simply we can say is the car or mobile we take. This is, for example, if you take one car, it comes with a lots of variants, right? Variant X, Y, Z, like that. Each variant has different features, right? According to that, if we want to make in our industry, whether for particular variant, whether, do we have enough material? That capacity we are having or not, we have to plan it. Oh, that is also comes under capacity planning. So all this process planning, production planning, MRP, capacity planning, we'll be studying about in the fourth unit in detail. Okay, we'll be studying that. Later unit we'll be studying. And the final topic is manufacturing control, which is comes under shop floor control, inventory control, quality control. Shop floor control is how much product is going, how much is coming out, like whether it is efficiently maintained. Expected is 1000, coming it's 800, means where is the lag? We can analyze. Okay, whether are we having enough storage, inventory control, where to store, our quality control. We have to inspect how we are going to inspect. Everything comes under manufacturing control of this one. Okay, so this is comes under manufacturing support system. So manufacturing support system combination is the business function is the medium between the industry and the customer. The product design team or R&D team will be conceptualizing the what are the need of the customer by the inputs, and they model it with the help of manufacturing team, because manufacturing planning team will be having the idea about what is there in their industry, what is feasible in their industry. That information also they got, the R&D team will get the information and they design it and they make the prototype. Then it will go to the process, the manufacturing planning team. They plan overall plan of the particular component, how it should go, and the capacity planning and the resource planning, everything will be done. And manufacturing control, once the planning is done, execution is there, whether it is right or wrong. Simply we have to plan alone, not going to work. whether it is running properly or not, whether we obtained what is the required quality, we got it or not, we have to do the control. That control done by the manufacturing control. For example, machining is continuously running, whether we can increase the feed rate or depth of cut, or we can reduce the feed rate or depth of cut, or we can increase manpower for that, or we can increase the shift, like instead of 2 shift, we can make it a 3 shift. Like that, we have to think in the sense manufacturing control will be giving idea. Okay, it will analyze and what is the expected output, what is the, we are really getting, then we will plan accordingly and give some suggestion also. So it's also comes under manufacturing control. With this all, it is all about the manufacturing support system. So one is facilities, which is the main about machineries, equipments and all. But another one is the support system that it is controlling everything. Okay, these two are main. Without any machinery support system, no meaning. Without support system, keeping the machinery is also no meaning. So these two things are very very important in terms of production. Okay, then we discussed about each and everything. Then we'll go for what is meant by manufacturing. The manufacturing word came from Latin. Manu is the hand, factoring is the make. Using hand, make it. This is what initially they can name it as a manufacturing. Making something using hand is comes under manufacturing. This is from the Latin word. So this is what we are discussing in nowadays, that what is manufacturing is. It is the process of converting raw material into useful product. The definition of production is totally different. Converting resources into meaningful output. But in terms of manufacturing, converting raw materials into useful product by means of doing some processes on the particular raw material. So look at this figure. In this figure, raw material is the input, output will be the processed material, and scrap and waste is there. But in terms of additive manufacturing, you won't be getting any scrap or waste because additive manufacturing adding material. But in terms of here, removing material in using manufacturing processes, we will be removing some material. So finished component will be there and scrap and waste will be coming out from the manufacturing process. So manufacturing processes include many things. One, machineries. Machineries, name it, turning machine, milling machine, grinding machine, shaping machine, okay, EDM, wire cut EDM machine, ECM machines, everything comes under machineries. Tooling, single point cutting tool, multi point cutting tool, grinding wheels, right? And wire EDM cutting, wire machine, everything comes under tooling. Okay, and power, what kind of energy, whether electrical power we are using or hydraulic power using or chemical power like ECM machine and all, we use chemical power. Okay, or some other mean of powers we are using for removing that, and input of labor. Okay, so all this together only we can call it as a manufacturing process. So raw material to the final product, there will be a combination of machineries, tooling, power and labor. With that only we could be able to achieve the processed material. At the end, definitely we'll be having the scrap. To name it, if you do CNC milling machine, CNC cutting machine or turning machine using turning, we remove some shape, we remove some outer profile of the material. That removed components will be coming as a scrap and waste, and final product will be considered as a finished component. Okay. So in this, in manufacturing, it is mandatory to machine. The use of machinery is mandatory for manufacturing, but production it is not the case. Another one is the output generated will be a tangible in nature, only goods only, because in terms of production we thought about the tangible and intangible. Services also there, but in terms of manufacturing, tangible and intangible outputs both are will be there. So machinery is mandatory here. Tangible outputs only will be there from the manufacturing. Here, as we discussed in the manufacturing process, man and machine both setups are very very important to make some goods. Okay, so here manufacturing process is there. So man and machine is that. So what is the difference if you say what is the difference between production and manufacturing? Production is all about converting resources into meaningful output, and there is not necessary to include machinery in that, but in terms of manufacturing we have to necessarily include machines and output. If you consider in terms of production, tangible and intangible output, but in terms of manufacturing only tangible output is output only there. And in terms of production, only man is sufficient to do the production process. But in terms of manufacturing, man and machine setup is needed to make the final tangible output. Okay. And what are the types? What are the types available in if you say manufacturing system is intermediate system and continuous system. These are the two major types will be there inside the manufacturing system, intermediate system and continuous system. What is intermediate system? Intermediate system has two types: job production type and batch production type. Continuous system has mass production and process production. So with this graph, I could able to explain that with the volume and the variety, we are explaining about the types of manufacturing system. So variety, if you say, think about x-axis, it's a variety. At this end, the variety will be very high. And in terms of vertical axis, volume, how much numbers it's going to be manufactured. So this is in the vertical axis. So here, continuous flow process will be high quantity. Means oil refineries or iron or steel or chemical industry or cement factory, if you say, it is continuous flow of process. Okay, so quantity wise they make a very high number and volume wise very huge. That is coming under continuous flow process, that is continuous system. And second one is appliances making or bicycle making. They also do mass manufacturing of desired component. That is also coming under the continuous system. So here variety will be very less, but volume will be very huge. Next, go for food and foundry processing industry. It will be done using batch mode only. That is coming under intermediate production. Then if we go for job shop production, it is like many people, numerous people, resources involved to make something out. Example, aircraft industry or shipbuilding. If you consider ship, huge ship, if you take, they will be making only one ship for almost like 6 months or 8 months or 1 year. But lots of equipment, machineries, human power, everything focused on making that particular ship alone. So that is jobs of production type. So here variety will be very less. Maybe only one ship they are going to make, but volume very limited in this kind of production. So in that case, we will be using this kind of job shop production. Okay, each and every production type like continuous flow production or mass manufacturing, batch production, job shop production, each and everything will be having individual characteristics, advantages and disadvantages. We'll be reading about, we'll be teaching you guys about that in the coming videos. Okay, so thank you for watching about this topic. Like in this video, we discussed about the industry 4.0, industry 5.0. What is the difference between production and manufacturing? What is meant by production? What is meant by manufacturing? And what are the types in general in available in manufacturing system? Okay, thank you very much. We'll continue about the detailed explanation about each and every manufacturing system in the coming videos. Thank you.